Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. For some reason, I thought I wouldn't have very much to talk about this week. I thought I'll make it a short one, 10-15 minutes. But there is so much that's happened this week. I've just been going scrolling down on the Facebook group, and there's all sorts of things I just want to have a brief word about. So this might be a slightly longer one. We'll see how we go. Still loving the movies that matter thread. Let's see. I've got notes here. They're balanced on the tripod. They're going to fall off any minute, so I'm going to end up taking them off, I think. Let's see. Jason, you mentioned 3 crime thrillers. 2 of them I can't remember. But the Sweeney, the Ray Winstone version. Not sure how I felt about that. It got the most horrible reviews when it came out. I still remember seeing Ray Winstone being interviewed on, I think it was either Parkinson or Wogan, I can't remember. And he was talking about upcoming projects, and the interviewer, I'm sure it was Parky, said, would you like to tell the audience who you're going to be playing in your next movie? And Winston said, yeah, it's Jack Regan. And the audience went crazy, and I sat there and thought, yes, finally he's going to get a role that he was absolutely born to play. I mean, Jack Regan is just iconic. The Sweeney is iconic as far as the 70s go. And I was really hoping that what they were going to do with it is set it in the 70s and sort of let's have an extended episode of the Sweeney, grittier, tougher, that kind of thing. But it wasn't. It was set in modern day. Winston got Jack Regan absolutely spot on. I couldn't fault him. It was George Carter, played by it's Ben somebody. They call him Plan B or something like that. But it just didn't work. This is me coming back to being used to seeing certain people playing certain roles. I talked about Bowie and The Man Who Fell to Earth last week, but I can't imagine anybody else playing George Carter apart from Dennis Waterman. And even if it was to be recast, Ben, whatever his name was, would probably have been the last person I'd have thought of. So that kind of put me off. The film itself was okay. I think I need to give it a second view. I might treat myself to a Blu-ray this week. I think you can pick them up on Amazon for a couple of £2 now, and have another look. But I can't remember being overly impressed with it. It was okay, but for some reason it just didn't work for me. So I think I need to give it a second view. But the other 2 you mentioned in the same thread, and I can't remember what they are, Jason. I'd seen both of those. So, and as for your little post, Guy, movies that matter, let's see. I can't remember what yours were either. 3 iconic 60s movies. The only one I've not seen is Bullet. Sorry, I've not seen Steve McQueen in Bullet. Do apologise again. I've seen probably the first 5 minutes of it many times. But never actually got around to watching the whole thing, so that's another one that I need to take in. I know it's got one of the greatest car chases in cinema history through the hills and streets of San Francisco, so I know I need to get that one watched. So yeah, apologies for that one again. And you mentioned Nan the movie, Jace. Eek. I'm not the greatest Catherine Tate fan. I have seen the Nan character on the show. Oh, it's all right, but it's not. Yeah. I suppose it was funny on television, but it's like they keep bringing out these sort of big screen versions of TV sitcoms. They did one of Mrs. Brown's Boys, and I think I saw about 10 minutes of it, and it was just too painful. I had to turn it off. That's a rare one for me. They just don't work the way they used to do. They did loads of them in the 70s and the 60s. Alf Garnett on the buses, Love Thy Neighbour, Man About the House. There were loads of them, Steptoe. But for some reason, I don't think they work very well nowadays. And to base a whole movie around one single character, which was basically just a series of short 2-3 minute sketches on a sketch show. When I first heard about it, I thought, oh no, I really don't like the sound of that. So I don't know whether I'm going to watch that one or not. Jay, you've pretty much said that it's another one that's painful to watch and crap and rubbish. So there's a very good chance it will get pushed to the back of the queue. So that's going to be one that I'm going to watch at some point, but only when there is absolutely nothing else to watch. I started a new thread this week, movies to watch before you die. As I say, I'm loving the movies that matter thread, and you guys are doing an absolutely amazing job with that. I can't keep track of them. I wrote and uploaded a load of posts to go on Facebook every day at 8 o'clock this week. That's how I've been doing it. But I can't keep track of the days. I shoot ahead a day, I go back a day. One day it's day 11, then it's day 9. So I thought what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new one, and I'm probably going to concentrate mostly, as I said on the post, on obscure sort of lesser known movies. The odd blockbuster will slip through. Blockbuster will slip through, I'm sure. But most of them, I'm going to try to make movies that that you may never have heard of, or that you may have heard of but never seen. So I'm going to be concentrating on that one. I'll pop another one on later. I did one yesterday. Started off with Get Carter, which I only put on because of the 4K release that's coming up, and I thought it was worth a mention. So that's why I started with that one. And your article or your post on movies that are cut for television, Jay, I really enjoyed that. I didn't put a reply on it. I do apologise. I do remember many years ago when they first started screening controversial movies, or movies that had let's say violent or adult content on them. They used to put, I think it started off as a triangle in the corner of the screen. I'm going back to the 70s, probably early 80s with this. And then it was a small square. I remember they screened Marathon Man. I think it was on a Monday night, and it was at 9 o'clock, and it had got this little square right in the right hand corner of the screen, bottom right hand corner, and you knew that when you saw that you were watching something that was going to be a little bit edgy, a little bit nasty, and all that. And that's how they used to do it. They didn't used to cut them, and then all of a sudden along come the 80s and the 90s, and any movie that they screened with sort of adult content, it was either cut or, as you said, they dubbed over the dialogue with the most ridiculous sort of scripts. I dread to think. You mentioned Lethal Weapon and Tango and Cash. I didn't see either of those on TV. I did see Tango and Cash at the cinema, but I'd only seen Lethal Weapon for the first time last week. So I do get what they used to do, and it was absolutely ridiculous. And now they're doing it exactly the same thing, but for different reasons. Political correctness, here we go again. Movies that are dubbed not quite right in today's climate. They're cutting them and chopping scenes and lines of dialogue out of them. So things really haven't changed. Channel 4 are quite okay, and some of the movies on Channel 5 you'll find are pretty much uncut. But Central and the BBC are bloody terrible. They had a season of Carry On films over the Easter bank holiday last week, and every single one was cut to shreds. And if you've seen them as many times as I've seen them, you know straight away that you're looking at something that's been chopped about. So yeah, they are still doing it now, and it's to me it's just pathetic, but they're doing it for sort of very different reasons. I'm referring to my notes here. Reboots. There are a couple of really interesting ones coming up. I'm trying to balance this card on the tripod, but it's not working. Reboots. They are rebooting the Blair Witch Project, I believe. Now, it's already been done. Let's see, we had the original, which was absolutely superb. Nothing like that I'd say nothing like that has ever been seen before, but I'll come on to that in a minute. Up to then, nothing had supposedly been seen like that before. The found footage genre, which I absolutely love. I think they're absolutely brilliant. And they're rebooting them. They did a sequel, I think it was called Book of Shadows, maybe a year or two later, which was dire, really bad. I only watched it once, keep meaning to have another look just to see whether it was as bad as I thought it was, but I've got too many other movies that I've not seen that are supposed to be absolute classics to be rerunning old rubbish ones. So, and the other one, which I think is going to be amazing, or at least I hope so, The Railway Children, the early 70s classic starring Jenny Agutter, Sally Thompson and Gary Warren, and also Dinah Sheridan. She was in it. Classic family movie from 1971. I absolutely adore The Railway Children. I always have. It smacks of bank holidays, especially at the cinema. In the 70s, The Railway Children was hardly ever out of Burton Odeon. It was always on. But I love The Railway Children, and they have done. It's not so much a remake; it's an update. Jenny Agutter is still playing Bobby, who's obviously grown up now. She would be sort of 50 years older, with a fresh set of Railway Children. It looks interesting. I will definitely watch it. They redid Swallows and Amazons probably 3-4 years back. And again, I remember the original from 1974 and loved it. And I was a bit nervous of watching this one because I thought they're going to wreck it. And they didn't. They actually did not a bad job of it. So I was quite pleased with that. So I'm looking forward to seeing I don't know whether you call it a reboot of the Railway Children. It's more of an update. But back to what I was saying about Blair Witch. I was saying that nothing like that had been seen before. But if you go back another 10 years to about 1989, there was a movie called The Mcpherson Tape. And it was, I think, the first found footage movie. It was to do with UFO abduction, and it was as scary as hell. It was really, really well done. Completely set in this farmhouse in the middle of nowhere, and basically not an alien invasion, but a craft lands. The house is under siege from it. It sounds stupid, but I promise you, the way it's done, it was superb. I remember watching it and being really, really unnerved by it, just how real it actually was. If you get the chance to get it, I believe it's just been released on VHS and VHS, VHS, DVD and Blu-ray, and it's called The Mcpherson Tape. I think it's from about 1989. So if you can get hold of a copy of that, I would urge you to have a look. That, to me, is the first found footage movie. What else have I got on here? I've got to refer to these now. Now then. If I were to start a video of the week thread, I would have 3 contenders this week. 3 absolute blinders. First off would have to be Chris's video that he posted of him on stage, aged, would he have been about 14, something like that, Chris? Appearing in the stage production of Fame, a school production of Fame. Amazing little 15-second video. Oh, Chris, how you've changed. That's one. The second would have to be Jason's review of The Batman. What an absolutely brilliant review, Jason. You really have got to do more, mate. You've got such a talent for this kind of thing. I thought that was absolutely amazing. I'm going to be giving you my thoughts on that movie in a few minutes. And finally, Joe. There's me last week. Do you remember this? Talking about The Man Who Fell to Earth. Trying desperately to skirt around and tiptoe and tread on eggshells around the subject of casting a black actor in the role that David Bowie, the Thin White Duke, made famous in The Man Who Fell to Earth. Putting everything very, very delicately, thinking about everything that I was saying before I was saying, being very careful. And then Joe from Joe Loves Movies comes on 3 days later in full blackface doing a Will Smith impersonation. Joe, oh my God, Joe. I sat watching that, and within 10 seconds it was like, oh, what? Wow. Joe, it was absolutely amazing. It was brilliant. And that is... I fear you may have opened some floodgates here, I don't know. I'm now not really that afraid to say what I think. Obviously, I'm not going to be blatantly off the wall, But that has definitely made me think. I mean, that is what I love about this group. We've got a diverse bunch of people on here who do stuff like that, and we're not bothered. It's great. It was great fun. It was funny. Me, Chris, Jason have seen it. I gather a lot of other people. Is your channel still up, by the way? I don't know whether it went on YouTube or just on the Facebook group. But I remember watching it and thinking, oh my God, his whole channel's going to get taken down. Because I know how touchy they are about things like this. They can be really arsey about things like that. But I thought it was amazing. You keep them coming, mate. But I just thought it was really ironic. There's me last week just being ever so careful about what I was saying, and there's you doing that. I mean, I'm not suggesting, obviously, that we should all come on like the black and white minstrels doing doing impersonations and stuff like that. That was probably a one-off, but Joe, what a one-off. Really impressed, mate. Keep them coming. What have I got here? Let's have a look. Reviews. Let's do some reviews. First one is from 2 or 3 weeks back, actually. I meant to talk about this one last week, but completely forgot about it. Scream, the 2022 version, the new version. I enjoyed it. It was okay. But I can't help thinking now that we're kind of retreading the same old ground. I mean, Scream wasn't my favourite of the slasher genre. Friday the 13th was. Halloween was a contender. Scream was brilliant. It was brilliantly done. It was Wes Craven. You can't go wrong with Wes Craven. But I like my slasher films with killers like Jason, obviously Michael Myers. My Bloody Valentine was another good one. They were very serious movies, but they didn't take themselves seriously, if that makes any sense. But Scream, yeah, I don't think he's giving away any spoilers. It was basically two college kids with chips on their shoulders that were doing all this, and it didn't quite sit right with me, but it was good. I enjoyed it. As for Scream 2022, we're back in Woodsboro. The murders have started again. You've got all the old characters in there. David Arquette as Dewey. You've got Gail Weathers played by Courtney Cox. You've got Sydney. I can't remember her second name now. Not Poitier. You got Sydney in there as well. And a cast of new characters for Ghostface to slaughter. It was okay. It kept me entertained for 2 hours. I didn't see who the killer was. I'm crap at things like that. Jason, I think you got it straight away. I think you said you got one and your missus got the other one. But it's not one I'd watch again. I enjoyed it. It was okay. But like I say, I kind of get the feeling now that we're going over the same things. I've not read of any sort of sequel upcoming with that one. I kind of hope they don't, because it's pretty much been done to death now. It's like Halloween. It'll be great to see Halloween ends at the end of the year, but I really think we've taken that as far as we can go now. I did read a post somewhere that they were thinking of doing it from a different character's point of view, and it's like, well, what's the point of that? I don't know. I think we should leave well alone now. Scream, you've had your day. Halloween, I think you've had your day as well. And God knows we've got enough films to go at. It's not as if we've got a shortage of them. Same with Friday the 13th. Much as I would love to see a reboot to see what they do with it, I'm not sure. One side of me says, yeah, go for it. And another side of me says, don't bother. It's like The Exorcist. I put a post on last night saying that in 2023, the first movie comes out, which is a reboot of the Exorcist trilogy, and it's going to be another trilogy. And like I said last night, you can't. The Exorcist was successful, or very successful, mostly because of the controversy that surrounded it and the fact that it was banned in Britain. This all helped to make it the success that it was, and it was a brilliant movie. It really was absolutely superb. It's Mark Comer's favourite film, always has been. But the thing is, you can't replicate that, especially not nowadays. The 70s were a very different time. There was ground being broken with all sorts of movies like A Clockwork Orange, Straw Dogs, Last Tango in Paris, The Devils. There were definitely new ground being broken, and The Exorcist sort of added to that. And I'm not sure you can do that nowadays, because I'm not sure about this one. I did have a bit of a conversation online with Stuart Taft Jones about it, and he says the same thing. That is basically that you can't replicate the kind of controversy that movie did have when it first came out, because that was 50 years ago. It was a different time, but we'll see. Maybe it'll work. Next review, Memento. Oh wow, it's a movie from 1999. It stars Guy Pearce as an insurance investigator whose wife is raped and murdered. It was directed by Christopher Nolan. Now, I'm not overly familiar with Christopher Nolan's movies. I've seen Inception and it made absolutely no sense to me. And I was told shortly after that a lot of Christopher Nolan's movies are like that, which is why I've kind of avoided them. But I thought, no, we'll give one a chance, and I watched Memento last week. Now, let me just say before I go any further, brilliantly made, superb movie, but my God, you have to concentrate on it. It's forwards in time, it's backwards in time. We're from this viewpoint, that viewpoint. I'm still not sure now, having watched it, that I understood the ending. But it is very, very cleverly done. Guy Pearce is absolutely brilliant in this. Superb. I've seen him in a couple of movies. I saw him in Lawless, which was the one about the bootleggers in the 30s, and he was superb in that. But this, he takes it to a whole other level. I thought it was really, really good. It's got Christopher Nolan's stamp all over it, because it is just as confusing as hell. I really think I need to give it a second viewing. And unlike a lot of films, that if I watch something like that normally, that I don't get, I won't normally watch it again, because I'll think it's not going to make any sense. But I really, really am tempted to give this another view. I want to watch it again, to see whether it's as confusing the second time around. Hopefully it will make a little bit more sense, but I'll let you know how I go with that. I've got a few more Christopher Nolan ones to go at. The Prestige, I've got Inception as well to watch, which I've seen before, but as I say, I didn't get it, and hopefully this time when I get around to watching it, it will make a little bit more sense. But I'll come back to Memento and let you know how I get on with it. But as I say, superb film, can't fault it, just confusing as hell. Unlike the Batman. Now, I've been getting opinions on this all week. Jason, your opinion was very forthright. I pretty much got the fact that you absolutely did not enjoy this movie. You only went 30 minutes into it. But I've been talking to a lot of people at work who absolutely love it. So I thought, right, I'll give it a go. It's 3 hours. I do see what you mean, Jace. It is very dark. People mutter a lot. I had to have the sound on really, really loud to understand what they were saying. I had to keep going back on lines of dialogue and this, that and the other. Technically, it was brilliant. Absolutely superb. I really did enjoy the movie. Sorry, Jace, but I did. I really, really thought it was great. Robert Pattinson was not sure. To me, he will always be the kid that was in the Twilight movies. That's pretty much all. And no, I haven't seen the Twilight movies, but I do know he was in them. And I didn't think it could possibly work. But you got Andy Serkis as Alfred. It's really, really well played, and it's as dark and as brooding a Batman movie as you will ever see. I thought it was a bit of a cross between maybe Seven, the Brad Pitt movie, and possibly Blade Runner. The way the city of Gotham was portrayed in that. The Riddler was just unbelievable. I mean, the characters in there, you don't recognise them as the characters that you know, if that makes any sense. Catwoman, well, Selena Kyle is in there. Obviously, you know she's Catwoman if you've seen any of the other Batman movies, but she doesn't bear any resemblance to any Catwoman that I've ever seen. Commissioner Gordon, totally different. The Riddler is as scary as hell. Hell of a performance by Paul Dano, absolutely brilliantly portrayed. Um, I thought it was really, really good, and this is one, when I finally do get my 4K setup, I think this will look absolutely awesome on 4K. So I am definitely going to be purchasing that one and giving it a second look. It was a fast 3 hours, I will give it that. Maybe you need to take a better look at it, Jason. Get a copy with a louder soundtrack on it, because they were muttering an awful lot. In the end, I watched the end of it, the last 45 minutes, on the PC with headphones, and it all made perfect sense on there. So maybe I should have watched the whole thing on that one. But yeah, I would definitely give Batman at least an 8 out of 10. I thought it was very, very entertaining. As I say, as dark a Batman as you've ever seen. Whether it's the best Batman, I don't know. I mean, give me colourful, campy 1966 Batman with Adam West and Burt Ward anytime, with its colourful villains. I love all those. But they seem to have got darker and nastier with every sort of incarnation of them. And this one, it's as brutal as hell. The fight scenes are very, very violent. But I just thought it was really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So yeah, I will be having another look at that without a doubt. Now then, quickly, Bid It or Keep It this week is... this is not going to be a popular one. Get Carter. And before you all start screaming, no, you can't bin that one, this is coming out in a stunning, well, I assume it's a stunning 4K release from the BFI in July. And I will be purchasing that. So this one is only going to the charity shop because I'm upgrading on it. But it's another one that I can get rid of. And this will free up space for the Blu-ray 4K. A little bit confused on that one, actually. Should I get the Blu-ray, or should I get the 4K, or should I get both? A lot of the sort of 4K releases have got the Blu-ray in with them, but I'm not sure whether this one has. But it's got a wealth of extras on it that look amazing. So I'm looking forward to getting that. So that is a bin it, but only because it's coming out on 4K in a few months. So what else have we got here? Finally, vinyl showcase. I wanted to start this. I used to collect, as I said last week, soundtracks on vinyl many, many years ago. I have quite a few upstairs, so I thought it might be a bit of a laugh to show you some of the vinyl soundtracks that I've got. Not many. I'll do one a week and just show you what I used to be listening to. Oh, by the way, just to prove that I've seen Memento, I was supposed to show that when I was reviewing it. Completely forgot. First one is this one. Close Encounters. Oh, bloody hell, not Close Encounters again. Yes, this was possibly one of the first vinyl soundtracks that I bought. Aren't these gorgeous? We love vinyl. We love vinyl. I remember buying this, obviously, on the back of seeing the movie. I'll move it out of the way because it's... I'll show you a bit more of that in a minute. Because obviously, I saw the movie, I think it was 16 times in 3 weeks when it was at Burton Odeon. Absolutely blew me away. I bought the soundtrack locally. It wasn't one I had to import. And it was never off the turntable. I thought it was absolutely gorgeous. I bought a telescope because of that movie, which I set up in the bedroom. And when I used to look through that at night for hours, just scanning the stars, I used to have the soundtrack to Close Encounters going in the background. So that's, as I say, that one. You've got all the track listing on the back. And this is what they used to call a gatefold sleeve. Let me just go back just a little bit. I can do it. There you go. With the mothership in the centre. Gorgeous. As I say, we love vinyl. And I also bought this. This was a bargain bin sort of version of it, done by the London Philharmonic. Just as good, well, near enough as good. But that was for that. It's still got the sticker on it. It was 75p that cost me. And obviously you got the thing on the back. Not bad. And the other one I was going to start this week was, let me just edge up, was movie tie-in books. I used to collect those years ago. And they are basically the novelisation, the book version of the movie, which sometimes came out before the actual film came out. But I bought this one. I thought I'd start with this one, seeing as we're in a Close Encounters movie. This was actually written by Steven Spielberg. So, I mean, you can't really go wrong. I've read this a few times and absolutely love it. It's faithful to the movie. Pretty much every scene that you remember in the movie is in this. And obviously, I'd be sitting up in the bedroom with the telescope pointing out the window, up at the stars and the planets, with the soundtrack to Close Encounters in the background. Then when I'd finished that, I'd sit and read this and all the other Close Encounters stuff that I got. So yeah, I'll be showing off a few more of the movie tie-in books that I've got, because I have got quite a few. So if I just do one a week, one vinyl and one book, we should get through the collection in about a couple of years, something like that. I've got quite a few. Now then, quote encounters for this week. I'm going to have to refer to the PC on this one, because I'm never going to remember it. Well done, by the way, on getting last week's. It was an easy one. The Blues Brothers, you all pretty much knew that. This one might be a little bit harder, I don't know. I'm not going to give you any clues on this one. Just see how you go with this. Here we go. You're a big man, but you're in bad shape. With me, it's a full-time job. Now behave yourself. Classic movie. Absolutely classic movie. I hope somebody gets that one. I reckon Joe will know it. Caroline would almost certainly know that one. So Chris might even get that one. So let's see how we go. Right, 30 minutes for saying this was supposed to be a short video. I've ran way over. I hope I've not bored you too much. Thanks ever so much for joining me, folks. It's time I let you get on with your day and I get on with mine. I'll be back next week with a fresh crop of all sorts of bits and pieces, reviews and all that sort of stuff. So enjoy your week, folks. As I say, thanks for joining me. If you've enjoyed the video, just give us a thumbs up and also subscribe. That'd be amazing. Have a brilliant week, folks. Enjoy the weather while it lasts, and I will see you all next week. Thanks again for joining me. Take care, folks. Ta-da.